Buffalo Bills fans, sit down because you are about to get hit with not one, not two, but three separate pieces of certified good news. And honestly, by the end of this video, you might start to believe that this is actually the year. The year Bills Mafia has been begging, praying, and screaming for since forever. Grab a coffee, grab a beer, grab whatever gets you through a Tuesday. Because we are diving deep into everything happening in Orchard Park right now, and trust me, it is a lot. Let's start with a story that has the entire NFL world buzzing. Mike Garafolo, one of the most trusted insiders in the business, sat down on the Rich Eisen Show recently, and the clip has been absolutely everywhere since. Garafolo was asked, out of every training camp he has visited this summer, which team has impressed him the most? His answer? Without hesitation, he said, it's the Buffalo Bills. Now look, we hear this kind of thing every single training camp. Every fan base gets told their team looks great in July. It's basically a rite of passage. But here's the difference. Garafolo didn't just throw out a vague compliment. He backed it up with real, specific receipts. The first thing he pointed to was the chemistry between DJ Moore and Josh Allen. And listen, we all remember there were some early hiccups. Routes not quite lining up, timing that looked a little rusty. But according to Garafolo, offensive coordinator Joe Brady basically told him he wanted Moore and Allen to mess up in practice. Not because he wanted them to fail, but because he wanted to create those coachable moments early, so that by the time the lights come on in September, there are no surprises left. And apparently, that plan worked. Garafolo says the two of them have been locked in, playing in what he described as almost perfect sync. If you're a Bills fan who has been nervous about whether DJ Moore can really be that true number one receiver, that is exactly the kind of update you wanted to hear. But it doesn't stop there. Garafolo also raved about new defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard and the brand new 3-4 defensive scheme he's installing in Buffalo. And can we talk about how badly this team has needed this? For years, Bills fans have watched this defense struggle to generate consistent pressure, struggle to create takeaways, struggle to be the terrifying ball-hawking unit we know this roster is capable of being. Leonhard's scheme is designed to change all of that, and if an outside insider with no rooting interest is already hyped about it in August, that is a very, very good sign heading into the season. Now let's move to good news number 2, and this one is straight out of the personnel department. The Buffalo Bills have officially signed veteran defensive tackle Greg Gaines. And before you scroll past this thinking just another camp body, slow down because the details here are actually pretty exciting. This is a vet minimum deal, meaning it's an incredibly team-friendly, low-risk contract. We're talking about only $137,000 guaranteed, plus a $50,000 bonus if he makes the roster in Week 1. For a player who is entering the absolute prime of his career, that is an incredible value swing by General Manager Brandon Beane. Gaines is walking into a legitimate competition for the starting nose tackle job, and Bills fans on social media have already started drawing comparisons between Gaines and a certain beloved Buffalo legend, Kyle Williams. Now, that is not a comparison Bills Mafia throws around lightly. Kyle Williams is a franchise icon, a grinder, a guy who made a living exploiting offensive line mistakes and blown protections. If Greg Gaines can bring even a fraction of that disruptive, technical, high IQ style of play to the interior, this defense just got a whole lot scarier. And it's not just fans buzzing about this move. Joe Brady himself weighed in during a recent press conference. Brady made it clear he's been a longtime fan of Gaines, pointing to his impact in both Los Angeles and Tampa Bay. He acknowledged that the Bills' interior defensive line is loaded with youth right now, and that bringing in a proven veteran gives those young guys someone to learn from. Brady was also quick to shut down any narrative that this signing is some kind of shot at second-year lineman Dwayne Carter. And honestly, when you look at the depth chart, that checks out. Outside of Gaines and longtime anchor Ed Oliver, this defensive line is stacked with youth. Landon Jackson, Dwayne Carter, TJ Sanders, Deone Walker. a young core that desperately needed a steady veteran presence in that room. This move isn't about replacing anybody. It's about building a sustainable, disruptive front for years to come. Now on to good news number 3, and this one is all about a player who refuses to give up his spot without a fight. Ray Davis. Reports out of camp say Davis has made it very clear he wants to keep his job as the team's primary kick returner, and he is not interested in handing that role over to anybody. Think about that for a second. Ray Davis is talented enough that he could probably walk on to nearly 20 other NFL rosters and compete for a starting running back job. But instead, he's embracing this special teams role because he understands exactly how valuable he is to this specific Buffalo Bills team. Joe Brady confirmed as much, saying Davis is firmly in the mix for that return job and pointed back to the flashes Davis showed in that exact role last season. And look, we all know Davis has been vocal about wanting more carries in this offense. But with James Cook playing as efficiently as he has been in the backfield, this might genuinely be the smartest way to get Ray Davis's explosiveness onto the field consistently, by letting him turn special teams into his personal highlight reel. Now let's shift gears, because it wouldn't be a Bills training camp update without talking about the king himself, Josh Allen. And folks, according to respected Buffalo reporter Patrick Moran, Josh Allen might be having one of the best summers of his entire career. Considering how rough that ending to last season felt for Bills fans, that is a massive statement. Moran pointed specifically to Allen's performance in the Carolina preseason game and in joint practices against the Cleveland Browns, and by all accounts, Allen has looked absolutely surgical, dominating the secondary, making sharp, disciplined decisions on run-pass options, taking care of the football, and doing it all with a kind of composure that only comes with experience. And here's the fun part. Josh Allen is a dad now. He's got what people are affectionately calling dad's strength. He looks calmer, smarter, more locked in than ever. Combine that with a receiving core he's clearly building serious chemistry with, and you have to start wondering, could this actually be another MVP season brewing in Buffalo? Because right now, on paper and on tape, there is a strong case that Josh Allen remains the single best player in the entire National Football League. Of course, not everything is sunshine and rainbows, because this is the NFL, and there is always a little bit of drama lurking around the corner. Last night during preseason action, a name Bills fans really did not want to see went absolutely viral: Kaden McDonald. McDonald, who was drafted just one single pick after the Bills selected TJ Parker, put on an absolute show for the Las Vegas Raiders, blowing right through his blocker and sacking the #1 overall pick, quarterback Fernando Mendoza. And naturally, Bills Mafia's collective anxiety spiked instantly. Because remember, Buffalo traded back not once, not twice, but 3 separate times to land that second-round pick used on TJ Parker. If Parker doesn't pan out, and Kaden McDonald turns into a star for Las Vegas, that is the kind of storyline that follows a front office around for years. TJ Parker better be good, Bills Mafia, because the pressure is officially on. In more roster movement news, former Buffalo Bills safety Taylor Rapp has officially signed with the Denver Broncos. Now, Rapp's time in Buffalo was complicated to say the least, marked by both flashes of promise and a rough, injury-plagued final season. Bills fans have had a genuinely complicated relationship with Rapp. Some love him, some are ready to move on. Most are somewhere confusingly in between. But hey, credit where it's due, good on him for landing a new opportunity. And here's a fun little wrinkle for fantasy football and gambling fans alike. If Denver's other safety, Talanoa Hufanga, can't stay healthy, you might want to keep an eye on the over for opposing tight end production when the Bills and Broncos eventually meet up around Christmas. So where does all of this leave us heading into the 2026 season? Well, NFL insider Rich Eisen actually laid out the 4 biggest questions hanging over this entire Buffalo Bills season, and honestly, they are the perfect way to wrap this whole story up. Question number 1. Is Joe Brady truly ready for the bright lights of primetime football? Question number 2. Does everybody really eat in this offense, or does Josh Allen need even more help beyond DJ Moore? Question number 3. Can this revamped, Jim Leonhard-led defense finally provide what Eisen cleverly called an obstructed view for opposing quarterbacks? And question number 4, the one every single Bills fan has been waiting years to hear answered, is this finally the year that Bills Mafia gets to die happy? Nobody knows the answers yet. Not us, not the players, not even Mike Garafolo, despite how confident he sounds. But what we do know is this: the pieces are being put into place. A veteran anchor on the defensive line, a hungry return specialist refusing to give up his role, a superstar quarterback playing the best football of his life, and a growing wave of national buzz suggesting that, yes, maybe, just maybe, this actually is the team to beat heading into the new season. So Bills Mafia, I want to know, are you buying the hype, or have we been burned too many times before to fully trust it? Drop your predictions down in the comments. Let me know which of these 4 storylines you're most excited to watch play out. And if this video got you even a little bit hyped for the season ahead, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single Buffalo Bills update. We've got fresh content coming your way every single day, including a full recap of tomorrow's preseason matchup against the Cleveland Browns. Until then, Bills Mafia, stay loud, stay proud, and as always, go Bills!